I had a morning routine that I felt was working. And one Tuesday morning took it apart in 4 minutes. If you're high functioning, doing everything right, and still feel something underneath wobbles, this video is for you. I'm Sukunta. I spent over 20 years in international corporate environments, reached director level, and then gradually burnt out. I built the stability under pressure method from what I lived and what I now see in every high-achieving woman I work with. Today, I want to tell you about the day I realized that my tools were doing a job that was never theirs. Let me first tell you the collection I had, because by that point in my life, I had built a proper one. Meditation first thing in the morning, setting 3 intentions for the days, the affirmations on an actual card that I was reading every day, boundaries written out like companies' policies on sticky note. I had done the courses, more than one. I had breathing patterns for different situations, the way other people would have outfits. And I want to be fair to all of it. It worked. It genuinely worked. My mornings were calm. My weeks had structure. Anyone looking at my life would have said, there's a woman who had it together. Which is what made the Tuesday so instructive. 8:40 in the morning, I had a perfect start, meditated, intention set, walked in composed, and then one email arrived. A senior stakeholder copying my boss, questioning a decision I'd made, publicly, in writing. 3 paragraphs of polite doubt with my name at the top. And I watched, over the next 4 minutes, my entire toolkit change jobs. The breathing came in first, in for 4, out for 6. It helped while I was doing it. The moment I stopped, the heat came straight back. Then the reframe. This is feedback, not an attack. My worth is not on trial there. Good affirmations, true sentences even. They held, the way a person holds a door against the wind with visible effort and only while pushing. By 9:15, picture was completely different. I had drafted a reply that explained, justified, and apologized in 11 directions. I was breathing in square just to keep my hands still enough to type, and every single tool I own was in use at the same time at full strength for one email. Everything worked. And everything was supporting me. That's the detail I want you to sit with. The tools didn't fail me that morning. They were carrying me, consciously, effortfully, all at once. And anything you have to consciously carry all day is not a stable floor that you can stand on without effort. It's furniture you're holding up yourself. That evening, instead of reviewing the email, I reviewed the years. And it was uncomfortable because I'd been collecting tools for a decade and I never once asked why I needed so many. Every year or so, a new one, each arriving with the same silent promise. This is the one that will finally make it feel solid. And each one worked. And none of them did. And I kept concluding the same thing. I just haven't found the right tool yet. It never once occurred to me that I was furnishing a house with no floor. So here's the understanding that changed it. Every tool you own works on top of something. Your baseline relationship with yourself under pressure. The boundary script assumes a self that believes she's allowed to hold that boundary. The reframe assumes a self that trusts her own read of the room. The breathing calms a system that will rearm itself the moment the old question comes back. Am I safe to be fully myself here? If that layer underneath is solid, tools work lightly, almost casually. If it was never built, every tool has to do its own job and the floor's job at the same time. That's why the effort never made sense to you. That's why you can be the most disciplined person you know and still feel that something internal is off or missing. Nothing is missing from your collection. Something is missing from under it. So what changed after that Tuesday? Not the tools. I kept every one of them and still use some of them. What changed was my perspective. I stopped asking, which technique do I need for this feeling? I started asking, what would I need to already believe about myself for this technique to be unnecessary? The first time I asked it, looking at that 11 direction draft, the answer arrived quite quickly. I need to believe that I could trust my decision even when it's questioned. And no breathing pattern was ever going to do that for me. That's floor work, a different thing altogether. Built in small held moments, not in better mornings. The next weeks, honestly, mixed. Twice, I caught myself shopping for new tools anyway. Old reflex. Something feels shaky, acquire a new technique. I actually had a course half purchased one evening before I heard the pattern and closed the laptop. But then a moment came that showed me the difference. Another sharp email. A month or so later. Same heat, same pull. And this time, before reaching to the toolkit, I asked myself, can my decision survive being questioned? It could. I knew it could. And I made it well. And I wrote a reply that was 4 sentences long, no apology in it. And I didn't need the square breathing to type it. I didn't use any other tool that afternoon. That's what standing on a steady floor feels like. If you want to understand the layer that your tools are standing on, I've put together a free guide called Why High Achieving Women Lose Self-Trust Under Pressure. The link is in the description below. This week, when you reach for a tool, let it do its job. Then ask what it was reaching across. That gap is the actual work. Understanding your pattern is the beginning of your power. No one owns you.